You're on thin ice.
I'm already on thin ice with my family.
I was on thin ice already. Yeah. I was on thin ice already. Yeah.
Could you tell me what he said? I am on thin ice already. You say this when you're already in a risky or tense situation. Maybe you've upset someone, broken a rule, or made a mistake, and one more wrong move could make things worse. It means I'm already in trouble or in a dangerous position, and I can't afford to make it worse. The phrase comes from the image of standing on thin ice. If you move too much, it could crack and you'd fall through.
Speak of the devil, hello.
Speak of the devil.
Speak of the devil.
Speak of the devil.
Speak of the devil, right on time.
Could you tell me what he said? Speak of the devil, right on time. Just imagine you and your friend are talking about someone, maybe teasing or praising them, and suddenly that very person walks in or calls you. It means the person we were just talking about has appeared. The phrase comes from an old superstition that if you mentioned the devil's name, he might show up. Over time, it lost its scary meaning and became a humorous way to point out coincidences.
Every once in a blue moon.
Try going with your feelings once in a blue moon. Try going with your feelings once in a blue moon.
Could you tell me what she said? Try going with your feelings once in a blue moon. Just imagine you're talking to someone who always overthinks or relies only on logic before making decisions. You might tell them this phrase to encourage them to follow their emotions or intuition, not always, but once in a blue moon, meaning rarely. It means you should occasionally follow your heart or emotions instead of overanalyzing everything. The phrase once in a blue moon means something that happens very rarely. Combined with try going with your feelings, it suggests doing something based on instinct or emotion every now and then, not all the time.
I'm not the kind of person who likes to beat around the bush.
Listen, I don't want to beat around the bush. Listen, I don't want to beat around the bush. Listen, I don't want to beat around the bush.
Could you tell me what he said? Listen, I don't want to beat around the bush. Just imagine you're about to talk about something serious or direct, maybe giving feedback, sharing bad news, or confessing something important, and you don't want to waste time with small talk. You'd say this phrase right before getting straight to the point. It means I don't want to avoid the main topic, I want to speak directly and honestly. The phrase beat around the bush comes from old hunting language, where hunters would hit bushes to scare animals out instead of going directly after them. In conversation, it means avoiding the real issue or delaying the truth. Saying, I don't want to beat around the bush shows that you prefer directness and honesty, often before delivering an important message.
Fit as a fiddle.
I'm as fit as a fiddle. Fit as a fiddle and ready for love. Fit as a fiddle and ready for love.
Could you tell me what he said? Fit as a fiddle and ready for love. Let's suppose someone wakes up feeling full of energy, they've been exercising, eating well, and are in a fantastic mood. Maybe they're even dressing up for a date or just feeling confident about themselves. They might laugh and say, I'm fit as a fiddle and ready for love. It means I feel perfectly healthy, energetic, and in a great mood, ready for romance or fun. The phrase fit as a fiddle is an old idiom meaning in excellent physical condition. A fiddle, violin, must be finely tuned to sound perfect, so comparing yourself to it means everything about you, body, mind, and mood is working smoothly.
I've been snowed under.
But you're snowed under with work?
Snowed under, to be honest, and I've got a headache. Snowed under, to be honest, and I've got a headache.
Could you tell me what she said? I am snowed under, to be honest, and I've got a headache. Let's suppose you've got a huge pile of work emails, deadlines, meetings, maybe even house chores, and you're feeling completely buried under all of it. You're tired, maybe even stressed, and someone asks how you're doing. You sigh and say, I'm snowed under, to be honest, and I've got a headache. It means I'm extremely busy or overwhelmed with too much work or responsibility. The phrase snowed under paints a picture of being buried beneath a heavy layer of snow, unable to move or breathe easily. In conversation, it's used figuratively to describe being covered by too many tasks or problems.
Hold your horses, hold your horses.
Hold your horses, maniac.
Hold your horses. Hold your horses.
Could you tell me what she said? Just imagine someone getting a little too excited or impatient. Maybe they're rushing to make a decision, interrupting you, or trying to leave before you've even finished explaining something. You'd say, hold your horses, to tell them to slow down or. It means wait a moment or slow down and be patient. The phrase hold your horses comes from the time when people traveled by horse. If someone was about to ride off too soon, they'd be told to literally hold their horses still. Over time, it became an idiom meaning don't rush or be patient.
Every time you suit up.
Suit up.
Go find Dr. Dizzy and suit up.
Every time you suit up.
Could you tell me what he said? Suit up. Let's suppose your friend is hesitating to join a formal event, maybe a wedding, a fancy dinner, or even a mission or competition, and you want him to get ready properly. You'd say, then tell him to suit up. It's a short, confident, and slightly commanding phrase that means get dressed for the occasion or get ready for action. The phrase suit up literally means to put on a suit, but it's also used more broadly to mean get ready for something important. The word suit represents readiness and professionalism, whether it's a business meeting, a date, or a big event.
Winter is coming, bitches. Winter is coming.
Winter is coming. Winter is coming.
Could you tell me what she said? Winter is coming, bitches. Let's suppose you and your friends are joking around, and you want to sound dramatic or warn them about something tough that's about to happen, maybe exams, a cold season, or a stressful time at work. It means something difficult or serious is coming soon, get ready for it. The phrase winter is coming originally comes from Game of Thrones and symbolizes that a tough or dark time is approaching. When someone says it in conversation, they're warning others, often humorously, that something challenging or intense is near.
We'll cut to the chase.
Let's cut to the chase.
Yeah, what do you say we cut to the chase? Yeah, what do you say we cut to the chase?
Could you tell me what he said? Yeah, what do you say we cut to the chase? Let's suppose you're in a long meeting or conversation where people are talking about small details, background stories, or unnecessary stuff, and you just want to get to the main point. You'd say, yeah, what do you say we cut to the chase? It means let's skip the unnecessary details and get straight to the main point. The phrase cut to the chase comes from early Hollywood films. In silent movies, long dialogue scenes would eventually lead to an exciting chase scene, the part everyone was waiting for.
No need to get bent out of shape. No need to get bent out of shape. No need to get bent out of shape.
Could you tell me what he said? No need to get bent out of shape. Let's suppose someone reacts too strongly to a small mistake, maybe you forgot to call, spilled a drink, or made a tiny joke, and they start getting upset. You'd calmly say, hey, no need to get bent out of shape. It means don't get upset, angry, or overreact about something minor. The phrase bent out of shape paints a picture of something that was once straight or normal but is now twisted or distorted. Figuratively, it describes a person who's emotionally thrown off, angry, annoyed, or frustrated, especially over something small.
That's the last straw. That's the last straw.
That's the last straw.
Guys, that's the last straw.
Could you tell me what she said? That's the last straw. Let's suppose someone has been patient for a long time, maybe their roommate keeps making a mess, a coworker keeps missing deadlines, or a friend keeps canceling plans. They've tolerated it again and again, but now one more small thing happens, and they've finally had enough. Frustrated, they say, that's the last straw. It means this is the final problem or annoyance that I can tolerate, I've had enough. The phrase the last straw comes from the old saying the straw that broke the camel's back. It refers to a camel carrying so much weight that one last piece of straw causes it to collapse.
Now's not the time for it to go cold turkey.
You're gonna go cold turkey.
Now's not the time for it to go cold turkey.
Could you tell me what he said? Now's not the time for her to go cold turkey. Let's suppose someone you know, maybe a friend who smokes, drinks coffee nonstop, or scrolls through social media all day, suddenly decides to quit completely, all at once. You might say, now's not the time for her to go cold turkey. It means to suddenly and completely stop doing something, especially a habit or addiction. The phrase go cold turkey originally referred to the physical symptoms people experience when quitting drugs or alcohol. Suddenly, their skin can get cold and bumpy, like a plucked turkey.
A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush.
A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush.
Could you tell me what he said? A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Let's suppose someone has a secure job or a good opportunity right now but is tempted to risk it for something uncertain, maybe a higher paying job offer, an investment, or a big dream that might not work out. You might advise them, remember, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. It means it's better to keep what you already have than to risk losing it by trying to get something more uncertain. The phrase compares holding one bird securely in your hand to trying to catch two birds that are still in a bush. You might end up losing all three.
You have a chip on your shoulder.
Living to get older with a chip on your shoulder.
You have a chip on your shoulder.
Living to get older with a chip on your shoulder.
You have a chip on your shoulder.
Living to get older with a chip on your shoulder.
Could you tell me what he said? Living to get older with a chip on your shoulder. Let's suppose someone carries around resentment or bitterness from their past. Maybe they were treated unfairly, overlooked, or hurt by someone. Even as they get older, they still hold on to that anger or grudge, letting it shape how they see the world. You might describe them by saying, he's living to get older with a chip on his shoulder. It means to carry resentment or anger about something that happened in the past, often making you defensive or easily upset.
Be a doubting Thomas.
Yes, I'm not a doubting Thomas.
Don't be a doubting Thomas. You are a doubting Thomas.
Could you tell me what he said? Yes, I'm not a doubting Thomas. Let's suppose someone tells you a story that's hard to believe, like your friend saying he saw a UFO last night, and you respond with skepticism. In that moment, someone might call you a doubting Thomas. It means a person who doubts or refuses to believe something without seeing proof.
Is a drop in the bucket.
The nations are as a drop in the bucket.
Brotherhood is just a drop in the bucket.
This issue is a drop in the bucket.
Could you tell me what he said? The nations are as a drop in the bucket. Let's suppose you donate a small amount of money to help a huge global crisis, like sending $10 to aid victims of a massive disaster. That effort is kind, but compared to the scale of the problem, it's very small. In that moment, someone might say it's a drop in the bucket. It means a very small or insignificant amount compared to what is needed or expected. The expression originally comes from the Bible, Isaiah 40 verse 15, the nations are as a drop in the bucket, meaning that even all the nations together are tiny compared to God's greatness and power. If this video has taught you something new, please like and subscribe.